So to make an image in your HTML pages, you're going to first obviously need the image. You're going to need the HTML page outline before you actually start it, and you're just going to need a basic idea of how big and all that kind of stuff you want the image. So in this case we have this picture which was found on Google Images by typing awesomeness. It says awesomeness, ask Barney. Picture of Barney Stinson from How I Met Your Mother. Anyways, that is on the desktop, and we will be just leaving it there for now, and then later on I'll move into another folder so that I can show you guys file paths with images, which will be a little more convenient for you later on once I explain thoroughly how all that works. Anyways, so with your HTML outline, you're going to have all of this stuff, your head, your HTML head, title, closing head, body, and then all that stuff. But this part right here, the paragraph tags, are optional. You don't really need those there. The only reason I'm putting them there is because it's best to put it in something like that, but in the next video we'll be using a different tag instead of paragraphs, because there's a different tag that's made for what you'd want to use this for, which is like aligning it with other stuff, and that tag will go over in the next video. But anyways, since you guys don't know that tag, I'm just going to be using paragraphs for the sake of demonstration. So to make your image, you're just going to put the basic like tag thing with IMG on the inside, but since it doesn't have a closing tag, you're going to put the slash at the very end of the tag. We'll be going over tags like this later on as well. So it's just the one tag with a closing at the end of it, with the first three letters IMG, then another three letters with after the IMG, which is SRC, which stands for source, and then we're going to do quotations, and then in the quotations we're going to put the actual name of the picture, which in this case I named it awesome.jpg because it's a JPEG picture. If it's GIF, you're going to put GIF. If it's PNG, you're going to put PNG. If it's anything else, you're going to put that there. Now we're going to make our width and our height. Now, because we want this square, we're going to make the width, we'll say 200, so equals 200 px. And my bad, we have to put that in quotations as well. And you have to remember you're going to want to make sure that you put px at the end, because it needs to know what unit of measurement you're using. And for height, we're going to put, I don't know, let's say close to half of it, but probably a little bit more, so we'll put 125 px, and we put that in quotations. And after that, we have a few more things. We have border, which is just a little border that goes around it. You can determine how thick you want it. For this, we're just going to put 1 px, just so you guys can kind of see what I mean. You don't really need it for this picture, but later on we'll expand it so you guys can actually see what it does. And then we're going to put alt, and this is basically what you want your image to be called if it's not there. So for example, if you're using Internet Explorer, which I recommend you don't, if the picture isn't found on a website, you're going to see like a red X, and that's because the picture isn't there and they didn't give it an alt. If it has an alt, when that's not there, it'll show like a box, and then it'll say like what it's called in case it's not found for some reason. And for this one, we're just going to say awesome, and that should be it. So we'll press Control S to save it, and we'll save it as all files and youtube.html. Yes, replace that. Okay. Now if we minimize this, we will have youtube.html right here, and just to make sure it works with everything, we're going to be testing in Internet Explorer. So yeah, and there we go. Okay, there we have our picture. Now if we wanted it bigger, we could go into the source, so we'll take this, and let's make this 400, and since that got twice as big, let's make this twice as big, so it'll be 250. Wow. Okay, so 250. Control S and refresh it, and it's a little bit bigger. And although you can make it as big as you want, it will get pixelized from this. So don't just make things bigger and bigger and bigger without actually having an image that can handle that, so that it doesn't get all pixelated. So if we tried to make this like 1 billion by 1 million, it'll be really, really pixelated, and you wouldn't even be able to really see what the picture is. So make sure you make your width and height sensible. And for the border, just so you guys can see, we'll make this one bajillion. You refresh. See this really big blackness? It's because that's what the border is. So if we take this down to something, it might actually be like 10 and refresh. This is a little bit bigger on the edges than it should be. So we can keep increasing this and you guys will be able to see it better. It shouldn't have that big of a thick line. I guess this was kind of a bad picture to use since it already had a black border around it. But that's basically what border is. Usually for pictures, people only use like maybe up to like 6. That would probably be like the most you would use in like an average website. So thank you guys for watching. That's the basics of images within HTML pages. In the next tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you guys about div tags, which is the secret tag I was telling you guys about earlier, and that will help you basically make it so if you wanted to put something else in here, you could align it and put everything else that's in that. Like if we were to put text within here, we could actually move the text and the picture all at once. Well, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching once more, and like the video if you liked it. Comment if you have any questions or just comments, and I will be seeing you guys later.